Welcome to another episode of Sci-Fi Frontier. I'm Dominic, and I'm here joined again with my co-host,
Wally.
So we're here to talk about Alita Battle Angel. Now, we both went and seen this on the weekend, and so we're going to discuss the movie. We're going to review it, so there's going to be a lot of spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. And
Well, let's try not to spoil it as much as we can.
no, but there's going to be spoilers for sure. So
we'll do our best.
yeah. So first of all, what did you think of this movie?
I was really impressed by this movie. I knew of Battle Angel Alita from my years when I worked for a comic book store, and I sold these books for to my clientele. So I knew of it. I knew what it was, but I myself have never been a manga, or I do watch a little bit of anime now and again, but I'm not hardcore into it as a lot of people are. But I knew what the movie was about, and watching this movie was really it was just fun to watch. They've got such a good cast of actors and actresses in this movie, and just the way the cinematography was put together and the way it blended together so well. Like, you could believe that some of these cybernetic people